wait, it's being funny in a foreign language. Do you speak any other languages?
No.
Oh.
Oh my god. Anyway, welcome to our podcast, Spartan Music Monday. I'm Lexi, and this is
Mikayla.
And today we are talking about being funny in a foreign language by the 1975.
Yes.
This album came out October 14th. So, let's talk about it, shall we?
All right. First thoughts, Lexi? What did we think?
I thought it was alright.
Yeah.
It's like,
okay.
I thought like it's the type of album you just like put in the background when you're doing something.
It's like
not
a study album.
Yeah.
It's definitely like
It's
a
not
study
like
album.
I'm going to sit there and be like, oh my god. And just let the lyrics soak into my like brain.
It was good. The lyrics were good, but I know what you mean. It's like calming. I wouldn't want to like listen to it at like party or like a bash. I'm just like it's not a dance
it's not a party album. It's definitely like a
but
calm.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It was very like peaceful. I liked it, and I liked, for me anyways, it's like I haven't heard like that kind of album in a while. It's very different. It's very like, I don't know. It was very much like I like the style of it, and just like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
I liked like there's the one lyric that they have in like the first track, and it's like, I'm sorry if you're living and you're 17. I'm 17. What do they mean by that?
Yeah, I remember that. I was like, what?
Apologizing to me? Like, I'm living and I'm 17? Like, no, I'm sorry, I guess. But anyway.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I think also that the first the first part of the album was better than the second half.
Mm-hmm. Is it because it was, like, more upbeat than the second half? I know what you mean. I was, like, more into the, like, upbeat songs in this album than, like, the slow songs. Because I have to be in a certain mood to listen to the slow songs. And it's just, like, whenever I was listening to them, I just felt like I was about to fall asleep. Like, I was just, like...
Or, like, the first half's very much, like, wow. It's kind of, like, a vibe.
Yeah. I liked how, like, funky it was.
Yeah.
It reminded me, like, if I was going to the disco.
The production was funky. Jack Antonoff's production.
Jack Antonoff really pulled a trick out of his sleeve.
Yes, he's good with that.
Yes.
Many tricks. We are very familiar with Jack Antonoff.
Very. We love Jack Antonoff.
Yes, of course. He never fails. Ever. So his production's always good. We love him. I couldn't relate to, like, lyrics.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't really pay that much attention to the lyrics because I was like focused on like,
the sound.
Yeah, the sound, exactly.
Yeah.
Like basically like the main idea of the song is just like everything, like the sound versus like lyrics meaning, you know what I mean?
I couldn't come up with like a theme. Like, some albums have like a theme they go for. I couldn't really come up with one for this.
I know what you mean. It was a little chaotic.
It was utter chaos.
I loved it, but it was definitely chaotic. It
was like, what are we doing right now?
Oh my gosh, the transition from, what was it? It was Oh Caroline and I'm in Love with You. Oh Caroline, very slow, very soft.
I love Oh Caroline.
It was so cute. And then I'm in Love with You just comes in with this really like upbeat background, and I'm just like,
goodness.
Okay.
I love Oh Caroline.
Yes.
I think that might be my favorite one off the
really?
album. I love that
I liked
one.
Oh Caroline. It wasn't my favorite, but I definitely liked it. It was like, it was sweet.
I literally put in my notes, Oh Caroline, with 2 exclamation points on all caps. I was excited about that one.
I tried to be more organized this time.
Oh, yeah.
I put it into bullets.
I have it in sections in bullets. I have first thoughts and then hot takes in bullets.
Yeah, no, I wasn't that organized considering I wrote most of this today. But
yeah.
No.
But you got it done.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's not like my favorite album ever, but it's not the worst I've ever heard.
No, yeah. It was like a little hard to get through, but I feel like the reason for that is like I have to be really pumped for an album to like get through the whole thing in one sitting. Like I couldn't even get through Midnights in one sitting. I took like a mini break in the middle of it because it was just like so much to consume.
Well, yeah, like listening to an album is very time consuming, and if it's like it's not very much like gripping me, like, oh my god, this is so good, I need to continue, then it's definitely hard. Like I made these notes over the span of like a couple days.
Yeah, exactly. I started this in the beginning of the week, and I, like, finished it today because I was, like, putting it off. Because, like, I listen to, like, 2 songs at a time, and then I'd be like, okay, back to, like, my
I remember
usual stuff.
You texted me a song from the album that was in the bottom half. And I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, is she done with that album
No, I was
already?
listening out of order, which is very unconventional for me.
I was like,
but,
whoa, I'm behind. I'm behind.
Yes, that was actually my favorite, was About You.
Yeah.
I loved the feature during the bridge of, I think it was the lead guitarist's wife. What's her name? Carly Holt, I think was her name. Such a pretty voice. It was so, like, I don't know, I feel like just, like, the whole song, including the bridge, was very, like, nostalgic.
Yeah.
Captured that feeling very well. And I loved how they featured, like, his wife. It was very pretty.
See, that song, I feel like, is very much, like, have you seen Perks of Being a Wallflower?
I have, yes.
You know that, like, tunnel song?
Yes!
I feel like that song
gosh,
is such
Heroes
a tunnel
by...
song. Yeah. Like, About You could be a tunnel song.
Yes, definitely. It has that vibe because it was, like, it's just the background music.
It's, like, dramatic.
The instrumental.
Yeah.
It was very much like Heroes. It was, like,
yeah.
I know what you mean. I got the same, like, vibe.
Which is why, too, I feel like where they put that song, it doesn't fit. Where they put it. They put it in between, like, two kind of slower ones.
I know what you mean.
And
Maybe
then,
they were saving, like, best for last.
Maybe they were.
They were like, let's surprise them with this one.
Yeah, because they're going to be shocked. Because I was, like, listening. I forget which one comes before it. Let me look at the track list. I was listening, and Human 2 was on.
Oh, Human 2, so sad.
It's
I was
so
like,
sad. And
my notes was, like, I liked what they did to the piano.
Yeah.
The sound was very, like, strong and, like, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm not really a musical person, but I loved it, but it was, like,
devastating.
It was tear-jerking. I was like,
and
so
then
sad.
After that, you have About You, which is this tunnel song, and I'm like,
Like,
whoa.
it's just very much, like, teenage, like.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, I'm gonna drive my car, and I'm gonna pop out the sunroof, and I'm gonna be like,
whoa. Because you could definitely do both of those at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Won't crash or nothing. Won't stop.
Yeah, no, I believe in you for sure.
Yeah, great. And then after that, When We Are Together comes on, which is kind of slower.
I thought it was very, like, it sounded very country to me.
Oh, yeah, I know. That was, like, one of my least favorite ones for some reason. And I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I, like, started listening to it, and I was like, this sounds like country. Then I kept listening to it, and I was like, this sounds like country.
This is country.
Yeah. Definitely country. I'm
and
not really a country gal, but it was alright. It wasn't the worst.
Yeah. And I only know, like, a few other 1975 songs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, probably the local ones. Like, I'm not a big stan.
Yeah.
But, like, this album, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I feel like when I think of the 1975, I don't know. I don't know if I get this gist that they gave on this album.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I feel like a lot of their music, for me at least, was, like, their music has a very nostalgic, like, maybe, like, content feeling to it. It's very, like, warm and, like, sunshiny.
Yeah.
It's, like, but not in, like, a sunshine way, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know how to describe it. I'm sorry. No. It's, like, but it was, like, very warm and just happy. Yeah. I liked it. I like their music, but I'm not a big fan
like
either.
Yeah, you're not, like, a stan.
No.
Not on stan level capacity of the
No,
1975.
Definitely not.
I'm not either. Nothing against them. I just haven't, like, dove deep.
I know what you mean.
And I don't know, like, everything about them or what they're doing. I know this was their 5th album because I did some research on that.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
I know. My only research was the bridge of About You. I was like, who is that? And then I looked it up, and it was like, what does it say? Adam Hahn's wife, which is, like, the lead guitarist. They were like, Adam Hahn's wife featured on the bridge of About You. And I was like, oh, that's so cool.
That's so nice that
like,
he would include his wife like that.
Yeah, his, like, wife's voice, so, like, shimmery, so pretty. Like,
oh my God, my notes.
So pretty.
Yeah.
Just, like, I can't even describe it. It was so good.
I just want to know what the title means. Like, being funny in a foreign language, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, is it in the lyrics or something?
That's the thing about album and, like, song names. How do people come up with them? Like, sometimes it's, like, in the song or in the album. Like, Midnights was about songs written at midnight.
Yeah.
But being funny in a foreign language.
What is
there was
that?
no foreign language in this album.
And were they being funny?
I mean, unless they're from another country and English is the foreign language, then.
Yeah. But
I don't think so. I don't know.
Maybe it was in there deep and we just didn't find it. Because I don't think they were being very funny. Like, especially on Human, too. That wasn't very funny. That was devastating.
That was not funny whatsoever.
Utterly devastating. How could they do that to me? Like, at all. Just anyone to anyone. How do you do that to anybody? No.
Shameless.
But, like, song titles and album titles are a scary, like, funny thing to me. Because I'm like, where is this coming from? Because some songs will just name their, like, some artists will name their songs after just, they don't even say it.
Yeah.
It's just
it just comes from down deep. They're like...
Or they'll say it once.
Yeah.
And I'm like, huh.
What should I name the song? Oh, Noodle.
But I don't remember being funny in a foreign language being said once.
Nope.
And I'm usually on that stuff, because usually when it's said, I'm like, oh my god. That's like when you're reading a book and they say the title of the book.
It's like so... Yeah, exactly. It's like unexpected because you don't... It's not satisfactory, I guess, because it's like you don't know where it comes from. It's not part of the song. It doesn't like explain the meaning or anything.
But if you get that type of recognition, when you hear the title in the song, you're like, oh my god, everything's complete. Everything's good. Yes. And I didn't get that.
Yeah.
1975. I didn't get it. But yeah. So, what are your hot takes on this album?
Hot takes? I mean, I feel like I've mostly discussed, like, my only hot take would probably be, like, When We Are Together, which is not my favorite because it's country, but I don't know if that's, like, a hot take. Let's see. I liked, I don't know. I'm trying to find, like, hot takes, but these are all just, like, you know, they're not really hot.
They're just kind of lukewarm.
Yeah, they're just like
lukewarm takes.
Room temperature.
I think the only one that might be a hot take, might be room temp take, is that, like, I loved some of the songs, but, like, I don't think I would choose to, like, listen to the whole album.
I know what you mean. It's like, it reminds me of this one artist, but it's just like, some artists, it's like they make music that all sounds the same. Like, all their songs are variations of the other. And, like, they have the same sound for everything. So, like, Taylor Swift varies in her albums. You know, like, she has a lot of different sounds. You know, she can pull off a lot of things. But, like, I feel like they stay very safe with their choices, which is not a bad thing. Because, like, they have a good sound and it's, like, original to them. Like, I feel like if you've listened to a song of theirs before, you'll hear it and you'll be like, oh, that's the 1975.
Yeah.
But it's, like... It's similar enough to their music that I've listened to that I'm not like, oh my gosh, like, new music.
They've changed.
Like, this is so good. It wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I didn't like it, because it was definitely, like, a good album.
Yeah, for sure. I'm, like, just so used to that change, obviously, of, like, every album sounding differently. But I guess, like, people do create their own, like, sound and their own brand, and they're like, this is our sound. This is our brand. This is what we're going to stay with. And that's very much, for sure, what they did. So.
For sure. Are you coming to join?
Hello, yeah.
Hi.
Coming. Good to see. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. This is our guest star, everybody. This is
Hello.
Mr. Joseph Barros.
Hi.
Our intermediate film teacher here at Uxbridge High School.
Surprise
What do you
guest.
have to say for yourself, Mr. Barros?
Can we hear me? Are we good? Josh is nodding his head.
Oh,
Hi.
I think he needs to share his
This
opinion.
is my favorite band. So you guys were talking about it, and I was in the control room, and I was like, I have to come and talk to you guys about this right now. Oh, Caroline.
That's my favorite one.
What a bop.
Yeah.
So
what
good.
a song. So what do you guys think about the production in its entirety, from beginning to end?
The production was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Absolutely
It was
gorgeous.
very well put together.
So I'm here to, like, provide context, I guess, right? But, like, that was Jack Antonoff and the 1975's first album together. So if you go back and listen to their, like, discography, it's such a different feeling from the other albums. And I think that was so, like, Jack Antonoff has this thing with, like, reverb and delay, and everything is super, like, lush and pretty and dreamy. It almost felt like a 1980s, mid 80s, maybe even early 80s, like, pop anthem album. Like, there was a lot of, like, I'm trying to think of, like, Bruce Springsteen, right? Or like even like Aha. Lionel Richie was so. I don't want to talk too much, but Oh Caroline, I listened to it, and then my wife pointed out that it sounded just like All Night Long by Lionel Richie, and I can't unhear it now.
I'm gonna have to check you up on that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to
like,
check that.
The chords and the way the structure of the song is super, like, it's super similar to a point where it's like maybe not copyright or it's not like interpolation of like, you know, this sounds exactly like this, but it's like really close.
Yeah.
So I had something that I thought was interesting, and I want to get your opinion. I heard
Okay.
you guys talking about the like latter half of the album versus like the beginning of the album, like songs later on the album.
Yeah.
I guess maybe my hot take is that I think that the first half of the album is way more strong than the second half of the album.
No, completely.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
That's what we were saying.
So I heard you say like songs later, like Human 2, that's kind of like mid, I guess, like middle of the album. Not mid, that's bad. Human 2 I like.
Just now from Mr. Barros.
Human 2 is mid. What are your, let's rank like top 3 songs on the album.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
Let's look
that's
at the
easy.
track list.
My top 3? Probably Happiness.
Happiness. Yeah, I like that one. Oh, Caroline.
About You. And Looking for Somebody.
I'm
I
in
really
Love
like
with You is
that
a good one too.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, I asked you and I don't even know my top 3.
But Looking for Somebody's also good too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see the track list. Oh, Caroline is like probably number 1.
Oh yeah, for sure, for
You
me.
know, Wintering is such a interesting, I joke that Wintering is like a Christmas song. Because it talks
Okay.
about like
oh my gosh, yeah.
the 23rd of December. It's like very like, you know, it's like it's Christmas time and I'm like dating you, or it's like so it's like
Yeah.
a Christmas song. It's like
It like, I even wrote this down in my notes. It gave me a very like family, like childhood vibe. It was very like, I said it sounds like childhood, running in the wind and looking out the car window, like as a
Wow.
child.
yeah, that's okay.
That was-
Okay.
She's a
Poetic.
poet. When
All
she's
right.
a poet.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, but like it just felt very much like home, like very.
sure. I think
don't
like
know.
I think yeah, I agree with you. I think Wintering is probably up there, but like the thing that I usually don't enjoy about albums, and we've talked about this in class, we haven't talked about it on here because, you know, I haven't been on here, but singles are usually my least favorite songs on albums,
Yep.
right? Because, like, that's why we were excited about Midnights, because there were no singles.
was
There were
no
no
singles.
singles
Yeah.
at all. This album, the singles on it were Happiness, Part of the Band, and then All I Need to Hear. Those were the 3. All I Need to Hear was, like, the ballad single, and they had Happiness and Part of the Band. Part of the Band came out first, then it was Happiness, then it was All I Need to Hear. Happiness, though, is probably my favorite song on the album.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really good. I liked Happiness.
If like Wintering is like a out of the car, like in the breeze, like just looking out a window song, Happiness is like the song that you like jam out to like in the car with your friends.
Happiness
Or-
is summertime.
Happiness is
Yeah.
Happiness is just this song that's just it's just all encompassing. It's like so pretty, you know.
Yeah.
Usually 1975 they use it. It's really synth pop, you know. It's super super big and anthemic, and I think Jack Antonoff with this one, it was kind of a little bit subdued, right? I mean, Jack Antonoff as a producer is very subtle, right? He's kind of like low key, and Matty Healy and George, the 2 people who produced the 1975 music who are in the band, are also like really anthemic and large. So I think them 2 together, then you have a song like Happiness, which is kind of like low key and subdued, but it's like this big anthemic thing, right? I think the
Yeah.
same thing with I'm in Love with You too, which is my second favorite song on the album. I'm in Love
Yeah.
with You is like that big sort of like acoustic anthem that you can kind of just sing in a car. That's what makes the 1975 interesting, though. What do you guys
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, I agree with that. Happiness, when I heard it the first time, when I listened through it the first time, I was like, this is my favorite song on the album. But then I heard Oh Caroline, and I was like, no, this is my favorite
Yeah,
song.
I know. It was definitely one of those
It was
albums that I like
hard.
kept changing my favorites.
Yeah.
But
Like,
was
it might
definitely
change
very good.
tomorrow, for all I know. You never know.
I think just the same way that we talked about like Midnights, right? And like how you have to listen to the album like, I don't know, for a week or 2 before you really start to like sink into like what the album means and the like all of like the songs that you kind of just like don't know about at first, but then you kind of like learn the lyrics and you kind of feel, you know, the structure of the song. The 1975 I always thought worked opposite, but I think because of Jack Antonoff and like the way that these songs are written on this album specifically, that it's gonna be like a Midnights, where you have to wait for the album to be out for a couple of weeks and really kind of like let the lyrics sink in.
Settle.
Yeah, no.
Do you know what the title means?
No, so I wanted to. So I was like listening to you guys talk about the titles. Have you done any research on their other albums?
No, not
Do you know any of the like names of their other albums?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Do you guys want to hear these album names?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first album they ever released, right, was in 2016. It's called the 1975. So it's like a debut album. It's their self-titled album. The next album was called I Like It When You Sleep, comma, it's a sentence, for you are beautiful, yet so unaware of it.
It's a long title.
Yeah.
Poetic.
Then their third album, which was in like 2018, 19, was called A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships. It was a concept album. Then
did it like relate to the songs at all?
Yeah, so I think in the same way this is like, you know, back in like the 90s, but Radiohead's OK Computer, which was like this big concept album about like, you know, what does it mean to be like online constantly, and what does it mean for technology to be like, you know, part of your life so much. That album was kind of the same kind of breadth of like A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships is all about the idea of like how online are we all the time, and how does that relate to the way that we connect to each other. So that, yeah, I guess that one kind of made sense. And then there was Notes on a Conditional Form, which that sounds really fancy. I don't know what that means. And then there's this one, Being Funny in a Foreign Language.
Okay, so they've never made any sense.
They've never made any sense.
In conclusion.
Sorry.
In conclusion, 0 Spartans out of 5. Maddie Healy makes no sense.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Like, I think they're British. I don't know if that has anything to do with like foreign language. They're from England. They're British. Yeah, they're a British pop rock band.
They're British.
So
They
being
speak
funny
English.
in a foreign, yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's considered like a foreign language, but like
But like it's not foreign to them because they're just British.
It's not foreign to us.
Do they live
either.
in the United States?
I don't know. I don't think so. No,
So what does being British have
they
to?
recorded this album. They recorded this album at Abbey Road. I know that.
Oh.
Who's that?
That was a big deal.
That's like the Beatles. You know the Beatles album, Abbey Road? They recorded that there. Like, Mikayla.
Anyways.
Ow.
Do you have any hot
On
takes?
next episode.
Do I have any hot takes? This is my least favorite 1975 album.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I can't say anything to that, but I can listen to your opinion. That's all I can do.
It's not bad, right?
Yeah.
It's not a bad album. I just think that a lot of the songs on the album don't really hit me the same way that other compilations have from their other albums. Like, you know, on other albums there's runs of 5 or 6 songs that just kind of like make sense together for me, and this is like opinionated, this is completely subjective, but like this album feels, although it sounds really together because it's Jack Antonoff and it's them together as a whole, like, you know, the album is not really like concept album, but it's very close to being like this solid one piece of work throughout the whole thing. It's definitely their most cohesive album, but for me it doesn't sound like all these songs are like hitting the same way that I kind of wanted them to. I don't even know if that really makes any sense, but like
Maybe
that's
a
my
little
hot
bit.
take. Yeah.
No, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's definitely subjective because, like, I don't know, Lexi could love it and you could hate it and I could be, like, in the middle. But it's, like, it's kind of based off of how you perceive it and, like, what the songs
What
mean
it means
to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so sentimental.
Do you guys have any hot takes?
I think we already discussed this,
the hot
which was
takes.
just When We Are Together, which is track 11, which was very, like, guitar country,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah, that was.
And it's just not really my jam.
Wasn't our
but
jam, no.
yeah.
But yeah.
If you had, sorry to interrupt.
No, it's
If
okay.
you had 3 words to describe this album, how would you describe it?
Whimsical,
Fun.
warm.
Whimsical, fun, warm. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Did we just combine?
Yeah,
the
we
three
just
words?
combined.
We
Okay.
did like a improv, like,
Yeah.
one after the other.
Okay.
One brain.
Yeah, one brain.
I like Warm. Warm is really good. I think when I think of this album, it's like a November album, which makes sense
Yeah.
because it came out in November, but it feels like a winter album. Like, a lot of their albums feel like summer, even spring. Like, they're very bright, and the synths and the piano are really plucky and big, and this album feels way more Taylor Swift folklore.
Yes.
So I'm not, like, I don't know 3 words are tough. I guess I gave you guys a tough question, and now I'm struggling to answer it. Warm is a good one. Vintage. It feels very warm in the sense that it's warm as a vibe, as a mood, but also warm in the way that they recorded it. It feels very, very traditional.
Retro.
I learned this is more of like a production thing, but I learned on this album they use no like electronic plugins. They only
really
so they only used like pedals, and like if they wanted to use a synthesizer, they wouldn't use like a digital computer based.
So it is like
they
retro.
went old school.
Yeah,
A little vintage.
Which
Good
it
for
makes
them.
sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to a lot of like Jack Antonoff stuff, and even their stuff, they were kind of always leaning towards that. But
Yeah. Wow. Good for them going back, throwing it back.
good for them. Good.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of them.
Good for them.
So original, so old school,
Yeah.
so vintage.
One of a
Warm.
kind. Warm. When I
So-
think of this album, I think warm.
Warm. So what's our rating system? Have we decided on a rating system?
Well, last week we both rated it out of I think 5 Spartan
It was
actually
10
that's
Spartans.
a lie. We both rated it out of 10 and then we combined our score, but I think it would make more sense if we did it out of 5 and then combine it cuz 5 plus 5 is 10. So,
Why did she say?
Just take the average
What?
of both scores?
no, like so well, are you going to rate it?
Sure, I'll rate it.
Okay. So if it was just me and Lexi, I would say, "Oh, I rated it however many out of 5." She would say however many out of 5.
It's so
So-
much more complicated.
You add those two together
You
out of
averaged
10.
them last time?
No, we didn't average them.
Why don't we just
Then what
all
are we
like,
Okay,
talking
let's
about?
just
why don't we
rate
all
it.
Yeah, let's all just rate it
Let's just rate it.
individually, and then we'll just all have
She's
our
like a
opinions.
chamatician right now.
If we have to
not
break out
that
a calculator,
complicated.
no. If we have to break out a calculator for this, it's
Yeah.
over. Mikayla, what do you rate? Out of 10 Spartans, what do you rate this album?
Oh no. Probably like a 7 out of 10 Spartans. So like
That's like average or slightly above average.
7 fingers.
You're missing nail. Okay.
Lexi.
5.5 out of 10.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'd say like 6 out of 10 Spartans, probably. That feels about right. We're harsh. Mikayla's like, I like it. I think it's a 6.
Well, last
5
last
out of
week
10.
I felt so bad because I gave I think
You gave it like a
Midnight's
7 originally.
No, I think I gave it like an 8, and I was like, no, I give it a 9. I give it a 9. I felt so
And
bad.
she's like, never mind,
but
never mind.
I mean, I don't rate that harshly, so.
Albums change too, though, right?
You don't
Like I
want to
said,
hurt their feelings.
I mean, Maddie Healy, if you're listening to this, I appreciate you, but also, I'm okay. Not your best one. Matt, I'm so
Let's hope Maddie
Yeah,
Healy
Matt,
doesn't watch
it's
this
racist,
one.
you-
I thought you were about to be like, Maddie Healy, I love you.
I do, but like but okay. Also, when
Oh my
their last
gosh,
album came
yeah.
out, I didn't think it was that amazing either. And then after like a year, like literally like almost a year, like 11 or 12 months,
Mm-hmm.
I listened to it again. You know how sometimes you just listen to an album just out of the blue. You're like, I'm gonna listen to this again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I listened to it and it was like way better than I thought it was. So maybe this album I'll go back and listen to it and it'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, it works.
Mm,
Like I
that
like this a lot.
happens.
Right
Yeah.
now it's not. And I'm also comparing this to all their other albums though. And that's why this is interesting for you guys because you've never listened to any of their music.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
just comparing it to all the other albums I've ever heard in my life.
Sure, for a 1975 album, I think it's low. As a normal album, like every day, I think it's like probably around the same. Usually, I rate them higher because I really like them as I'm
Mhm.
like biased, I guess.
Hmm.
But yeah, this album, I don't know, it's
Yeah.
kind of like super average. It's like very, very mid right
Yeah.
now.
Mid.
Hopefully, I think.
Were
it'll-
you
I think it'll grow.
disappointed, like, when you first listened?
I rarely am I disappointed in music because it's like new music, you
Yeah.
know, like just like Taylor Swift. If the new album was like not super amazing, it's breaking all these records and it's really good. But if it wasn't good, there's still new Taylor Swift music, right? And she
Yeah.
she only records music like in one way and in one style. Even if it changes genres, it's still Taylor Swift. Same
Yeah.
thing with the 1975. Their worst song is still like, okay, I can dig it because I enjoy the way that they write music. And Jack
Yeah.
Antonoff was like a welcome kind of addition.
Mhm.
I want to see them do more stuff though. They're like you ever hear like the term art tours, like people who make art but they make Quentin Tarantino is one of these people. They make like their thing and it's like a one thing out of every couple of years and they only release one thing because they're really they believe in it and they want to make sure that it's the thing that they do and they're like really prideful of the thing that they make, which I guess every artist is, but some other artists just churn stuff out. And there's, you know, positives and negatives to both. But I think I want them to produce more stuff. They're very art-tory. Like, they just produce one thing, and then they'll let it sit for like a year and a half, 2 years, and then they'll release another thing, and then they'll do that forever.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. 2016 was their first album, and I think now they're on this is their 5th studio album. So think about, like, you know, it's what, like almost 6 years now at this point, or it is 6 years at this point, and 5 albums in 6 years is kind of like, it's like album a year, every year and a couple months. I want to see them make more stuff with more people. I like the feature that you guys talked about too.
Oh yeah.
I would like to see them do more feature stuff, because they don't do features a lot, believe it or not. They don't have like features on their records. They just like
it was very like unexpected, because like I was listening to the whole album, like just like the same sound, you know. I'm pretty sure Matt Healy's like the singer, right? Like the lead singer.
He's the lead singer. Yep.
So it was just Matt Healy, and then all of a sudden, the guitarist's wife comes in, and I was like,
it was exciting.
I really liked the sound. It was like very.
It was like a welcome addition.
Yeah.
You know? This album was like super, like I've said before, it was like low. It was like, if there was like a sonic description of like the way this album kind of panned out, everything was really low. Nothing was super big and bright and happy. It was kind of like it was a winter album. So to hear like the female vocalist come in and it kind of brightened things up a little bit, like, and that was towards that halfway a little bit more in the album. So that was a nice, like, it was a nice surprise. I like this. It's, you know. But yeah. So 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
5.5 out of 10. And then like 5.5 out of 10. I'd say 6. I'll give them. They're the 1975. I'll say 6.
You love them.
I like them a lot.
You're good.
Cool. Anything else?
Well,
sorry for crashing.
This
was fun.
Oh, it's fine. We loved having a surprise guest star.
I just wanted to come on and talk. It was fun. I heard you guys talking about the album names. And
I'm sure you were back there like,
well, I
want to get out there.
Walking
I
back
was
and
like,
forth.
They should talk about the other album names, because I'm telling them in the back, I'm like, did you know that this album is called, it's like a 10-word
Yeah, no,
album
you're
name?
like
and they're like, just
the
go out
whiz
there.
around here for 1975.
I just like their
so
music. But,
yeah.
All right, well, thank you for having me.
Of course.
Of course. Thanks for coming on.
I'll let you guys. I'll just sit here. I'll let you guys close off.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you for joining us this week on Spartan Music Mondays. We hope to see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.